Luke Gillett wants to wear a pink suit to his upcoming wedding, so he came to Simon's.
So why do you shop here?
I like supporting Canadian-owned businesses, so that's part of it, but the selection is great.
Simon's is a Canadian success story. The Quebec-based retailer sells clothing and housewares at 17 stores across Canada. It's set to open 2 additional locations next year.
We're very excited about these 2 new stores in Toronto.
It's a bold move in a tricky market, plagued with rising costs, fickle customers, and giant online competitors.
We have a lot more choices as customers today. We have digital shopping. We have ultra-fast fashion players. Whether you agree with their practices or not, customers are shopping these websites.
Plus, Simon's is taking over part of this ill-fated section of downtown Toronto's Eatons Centre, previously home to department stores Eatons, then Sears, then Nordstrom, each of which shut down. And Simon's next-door neighbor will be the Bay, which has closed several locations.
The customer is evolving, the customer is changing, but the department store is not evolving with them.
Simon's insists it's different. Sales grew over the past 2 years by 3%. The CEO says the retailer remains relevant by staying in touch with customers.
How do you know that in a year from now you won't be going out of business doing liquidation sales?
I guess you never know, right? The reality is we have to stay competitive. We feel we know the market and we listen to our clients.
Some downtown Toronto shoppers hope Simon's gets it right.
I hope, but I think the space is like haunted.
Simon's got a lot of great brands. They have great prices. I think they're gonna be the ones that stick around.
Simon's thinks so, but in the fickle fashion market, ultimately the customer gets to decide.
Good, eh?
Sophia Harris, CBC News, Mississauga, Ontario.
Let's look at this through a BC lens now. In Vancouver, the Nordstrom Pacific Centre closed last year. It had also replaced Sears and Eatons before that. So what's next for that space? Retail strategist David Ian Gray joins us now for some insight. Thanks for joining us today, David. Now, there's already a Simon's store on the North Shore, yes, but what is the likelihood of a location opening up in downtown Vancouver as well?
When Nordstrom departed and people were speculating on this, some of the wise people I confer with, and I agreed with them. I thought Simon's could be one of a very small handful of likely candidates. And the Park Royal location isn't exactly prime for attracting large volumes of traffic. So it wouldn't be a bad location for them. And it's the same landlord that they're dealing with back in the Eatons Centre in Toronto.
How risky is it, though, given this is, a Quebec-based retailer, so still focused domestically within Canada, it seems. How risky is it to move into a space like that, as we heard that might be cursed, that we've seen so much turnover of those big box stores? Is that a risky move for them?
They couldn't take over the full space. The size that they have in the Eatons Centre is about half of what Nordstrom vacated, and in the Eatons Centre they've split it with Nike and Italy. So the space was far too big. But the thing about the downtown Vancouver Nordstrom was it was perennially one of the top performers in the North. You've got that, but we've also now got a post-pandemic sort of drop in demand for fashion. So we'll see, but. They're expanding, and it seems in my books quite likely that they would be looking seriously at that space.
You touched on it there, and we heard in that piece, with online shopping now, it seems, first of all, the turnover of perhaps bricks and mortar stores them closing and being replaced has become a trend. So is the department store model a thing of the past, and what would their strategy be to get those customers back to make it successful?
Well, it's funny. I for a long time I've thought it's a bit of an archaic model. I don't know if anyone would really invent a department store now like that, like a very large format multi-department store, when we have so many enclosed malls and so much option. Like, it's not as convenient as it once was. However, sometimes being the different animal in the forest is not a bad thing, and as everyone else tends to vacate the space and the bay is languishing, Simons does seem to have some vibrancy, and location's everything. You know, that spot is actually in the heart of Vancouver. So I think they've got a shot in the near term. In the long term, whether we need department stores, you just need really large populations to support them.
Well, time will tell. Thank you so much for your insight today.
You're welcome.
That's retail strategist David Ian Gray joining us.